Welcome back to the Oddcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ricky.
And we're just two odd dudes who decided to start a podcast.
And today we're going to be talking about our worst injuries and grossest injuries and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you have more injuries than I do, but
Yeah.
I've got a couple I can share.
Yeah, I'm a broken man.
Yeah.
In many ways. More ways than one.
Yeah.
But you excited about this? You excited to hear about some
I'm
blood?
I'm like a kid on Christmas morning.
About blood?
Yeah, I love blood.
That's really weird. I'm actually now concerned to tell you about my story.
Well, anyway.
Also, a disclaimer, if I sound weirder to you, it's because I have allergies, not the vid.
Mm-hmm.
So, allergies are the worst. And we live in Phoenix, and whenever any sort of dust happens, all of my boogers come out.
And just all the dust goes straight up into your nose.
Yeah, and I don't have a booger spot, as my co-host Alex does, so mine go in tissues. So you may see me grab those periodically throughout this time.
As long as you blow your nose like right here.
I will not.
That'd be great.
No, also I'm not going to blow my nose during this. I'll just do the wipe because it's more of a runniness. It's not a not a big old boogie stuff.
Right. But a little boogie.
Yep, put a little boogie in it.
Yep.
Let's get to the Oddcast. So today we are going to talk about some of our injuries that we've had in our lifetime. Being a sports player, a sports ball guy, as you would say.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, both of us, definitely.
Yep.
Me a little more so than you.
How many of your biggest injuries have been sports related?
All of them.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
fair. At least one of mine is.
Yeah, I think all of them. Wow, I never thought about that.
Man, sports teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
And also, it's dangerous.
They can be, that's for sure. If we want to talk about also like the prolonged injuries that I've had from sports, we can talk about that at the end. And those are extensive. I'm like a 50-year-old man at this point.
Wow. Because of all the sports.
Because of the sports, yeah.
Think about professional sports players. How old are they? Like 160?
No, because they have, like, when they get into professional sports, they have someone that's just paid
to give them a new leg.
Like, I think I saw it was LeBron, and then an article just came out with Russell Wilson.
Uh-huh.
That's football, just so you know.
Wait, football or football?
Football. American.
Ah.
The only real football. Just kidding. Soccer's way more popular in the rest of the world, but Americans, we like our pigskin.
Yeah.
So they both have had articles that came out that they spend like $1 million a year on their body.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have like life insurance policies that are crazy for a lot of athletes. Yeah. They're just like insuring not life insurance, leg insurance. Yeah.
Body parts. Yeah. They insure different body parts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these people's like legs are way more valuable than my life.
Well, I would disagree, but yeah.
I mean, as far as monetary value.
Yeah. But yeah, they spend $1 million a year on keeping themselves healthy. Like they should live forever at that point. $1 million a year?
What are you even spending on? Like a gym membership? No, they probably only have their own gym.
LeBron, he hits up EOS. He's there running on the treadmill next to my wife. He's hey, what's up, Erica? Good to see you here again.
Yeah, but they're spaced apart because right now they're not allowed to
social
the same
distance.
way.
Yeah. No, they like chefs.
Oh yeah.
Trainers, like if they have any sort of special therapy come in, a lot of those guys will do different sort of like cryotherapies and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff they pay for.
Huh.
Anyways, I don't know how I got on this, but because I said I was really old. But yeah, it was that. Ironically though, because of all the sports, my heart real healthy.
Oh yeah, don't you have like a really low resting heart rate?
Yeah, last time I went again, 48.
I don't even know what mine is.
I mean, that's not like crazy low. Like there's definitely people lower than me.
Right.
And we know there'll be people that are like, oh, mine's 47.
What's like a good one?
But I haven't like worked out in 60 I think is like average.
Okay.
And that's
I think
like,
I was at like 60
even at 60 you're doing really well, right?
Oh.
Like in the 60s is like average to good. As you start getting higher, it means your heart's working a little harder. But 48, I was 48 and I had a Red Bull that day. So I was like, I think I was peaking. That's pretty good. But anyways, do you want me to start? You want me to have brokenness first? You want to be broken?
I think you're older, which means you probably had the injury first. So we'll go in chronological order. When was your first injury?
My first bad one? I'm going to sniffle. Hang on. I'm back.
Nice.
I think my first bad one's the worst one. At least the most traumatic one.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, I got 3 I'm going to tell. We'll go through this quick.
Okay.
The first one, though, was what I was a little alluding to before we started this.
Right.
I was in 3rd grade. And I was just at the age where my parents were trusting me to go like be a big boy and play at the park. But the park was literally right across the street from our house.
Oh, yeah.
Like we had a big front window.
Right.
And my dad could look out of it and see the entire park.
Right.
And it was right across the street. But there was like in front of the playground was a green belt that kind of dipped in, so he couldn't totally see in there.
Yeah.
But he knew if I was in there. And then there was like on the other side of the park, there's a big giant green belt, and I wasn't allowed to go there. Mm-hmm. So we were playing in the smaller little like dipped in green belt, and I was playing with some kids that were older than me. I've always been friends with people older than me.
Right.
It's kind of a thing. We were playing baseball, and I was behind the batter, being the catcher. Well, not really, because we were just like, there's 3 of us playing baseball. And so they were kind of throwing it.
So it was more like cricket.
It was kind of like cricket, yeah. But I wasn't like actually catching the ball because he was throwing it and I didn't have a catcher's mitt. So it'd be like he threw it and we had like a backstop and I'd just catch it and like toss it back.
Right, you were like the ball boy.
Yeah, I was the dog essentially playing fetch. I was the retriever, but I wasn't golden. Anyways, they threw the ball, and the 2 kids I was playing with, they were both in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. And the kid missed. And so I grabbed it and was like tossing it back to the pitcher. And the guy that had the bat didn't realize where he was at. Like this one actually was not my fault.
Yeah.
I was right where I was supposed to be. Threw it back. And he swung and he hit me on like the follow through. And it was it was like a smaller, but it wasn't a metal bat. It was a wooden bat.
Yeah, and the follow through is the worst part.
Yeah. It wasn't at the start. It was like he was coming at me with the bat.
Yeah, you were the thing that stopped his head.
Yeah.
Or wait, no,
stopped my head was the thing that stopped his bat. Yeah, and so and it was a wooden bat, so it didn't have any like vibration that it was just straight donezo.
I bet you that was a glorious sound though.
No idea.
Wooden bats hitting a baseball is fantastic. I mean,
hit my skull.
Yeah, I bet you it sounded nice.
Yeah, they could see my skull.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said.
It ripped open your skin that much?
I couldn't see it.
Oh,
so I get hit. I don't remember. I remember like, you ever seen like a movie where they're trying to like emulate that someone is slowly dying, or you're like playing a video game? Yeah, video game, like a Call of Duty type game, and like red starts getting on the screen.
Yeah.
And then like you're flashing in and out, like your vision's going.
Right.
That's what it was like for like the next 2 hours.
Is that like a real thing? Is that like when you're about to die? Or maybe it's just certain injuries where it's like your eyes just go red. Paul, you nodded your head. You've kicked some people in the head before.
The blacking out ish.
Yeah.
Coming in and out of consciousness.
Yeah. That's what I was doing, literally the whole time. So like, I got hit. I remember getting hit. I don't know why I just closed my eyes. That was weird. It was like I was like reliving the trauma all of a sudden.
Like, everything's going black right now.
It's happening again. So I remember getting hit, and then I remember like yelling happening, and I remember having my hands on my head.
Right.
And then the next thing I remember is like looking, and it was just blood like everywhere.
Yeah.
Because head wounds are the worst, right? There's literally blood everywhere. And so then next thing I remember, my dad is carrying me across the street. So they had ran to my house to get my dad because they knew I lived there. And so my dad's carrying me, and he's screaming at my stepmom to like get in the car, like I was dying, essentially. Like everyone thought I was going to die because I was so little. And then you see my dad didn't handle blood well, and you see all this blood everywhere, and you're like, oh, he's going to bleed out. So my stepmom jumps in the car. She doesn't have shoes on, right? She's in pajamas, and she just like hops in the truck. My dad like throws me into her lap, and they have like a dish towel on my head to kind of like stop some of the bleeding, Yeah,
because at that moment you're not like, wait, what should I wear?
Well, you're not thinking rationally either.
You're
you just like get to the hospital. And so my dad jumps in the truck. We race to the hospital, and he jumps, like they pull into the ambulance part.
Yeah.
And this is all my dad's told me this afterwards.
Right.
And my stepmom. And they,
I would be really surprised if you remembered all of it.
I remember like flashes, right? So I remember like I don't remember any of the drive. I don't know how long it was. I don't know any of that. But apparently they pull into the ambulance area. My dad jumps out, runs around, grabs me from my stepmom, and starts running into the ER.
Yeah.
My stepmom, she leaves to go.
park the car or
park
whatever.
the truck or whatever,
Yeah.
get it out of the ambulance spot for other people that are really dying. My dad runs in, and I'm little.
Right.
I was a small kid as it was, and I'm only in 3rd grade. And there's blood covering my dad, and it's like dripping off of me still.
Whoa.
So they thought they legit thought I was shot. Like they thought I was a gunshot victim.
Could you imagine, like
if I was shot?
Like a shot in the head? That would have been such a tragic, like seeing a little kid just come in like in his dad's arms. Oh.
Yeah, why would you bring that up? That's
what
so
that's
sad.
the picture you just paint. I'm seeing it in my head, and I'm like, oh gosh, could you imagine being one of those nurses? Like,
yeah, that would be crazy. I wouldn't want to have to do that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, anyways, they thought I was a gunshot victim, so they just grab my dad and like pull him into a room, like a side room, because if you go to the emergency room, people go to the emergency room for the dumbest stuff. Let's say that.
That's
like,
true.
They're like, I got the sniffies. I gotta go to the emergency room. I might be dying. I'm like, wait a couple days.
Right.
Go see your real doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the emergency room for people that are really, really injured.
Right.
Because they are the ones that really need it.
Yeah.
Rant over. Anyways, they thought I was dying or whatever. They thought I was shot. And so they just pulled my dad in, and they're like, what's wrong with him? He's like, he got hit, I think. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so they cleaned me up or whatever. And they said they could see all the way down. I don't know if that's a lie or not. I don't remember that. That's what I was told. Who knows? Maybe they could see my skull.
That's crazy, because that's a blunt force that would have to rip open your...
It was a big gash. I still have the scar. I can still feel it over here.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I feel it?
Yeah, it's right there. Feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big old knot.
It is, yeah.
Hang on. Got to wipe my nose.
Oh.
But anyways, they stitched me up. I guess I was fine. I don't remember any of that, but I was there. Oh, was that me? Did I blink?
No, you're good.
I was getting scared.
The light is going in and out. It's just
bringing
like it's
trauma
like...
back, man. So, anyways, as we, they stitched me up. I have to stay there because concussion stuff and all that, which is fine. But which is fine. I don't know why I said that, but the best part about that was to get the stitches out. They didn't have dissolvable stitches, which is a thing now.
So they had to
take them out.
Ooh.
So they had to numb it, and then they put alcohol.
Yeah.
Hydrogen peroxide. They put hydrogen peroxide on my head, and it bleached my hair.
Oh.
So afterwards, I had this little blonde spot.
Did it were you kind of like, this is cool?
Yeah. I wore it with a badge of honor. It was a pride thing. It was great.
Does white hair grow out of that scar, or
no hair grows out of it?
No hair grows. Okay, I guess it's.
But
a
I have
thin
thick.
scar.
I have thick enough hair that you won't ever tell.
Right.
If I ever go bald, you'll tell.
Yeah.
If I widow peak like my dad. But I think
you have
you get hair
you
from
have
your
a
mom.
slit in it.
I'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that's like the worst injury you've ever had in your life, or?
No.
No. What
most like traumatic probably. Yeah.
Most traumatic. Okay, but
like
not the most life-threatening.
No, not at all.
Is that one coming?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
The other one's also a head thing.
Head things are the worst, man.
Yeah. Go ahead. What's up?
So mine.
What you got?
Mine is pretty similar.
You got hit in the head with a baseball bat too?
I got hit in the head with a baseball. Yeah. So this is when I was
with a helmet on or no?
No,
I didn't have a helmet on. I don't know if that was clear.
No, but you should have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your kids playing at the park.
Yeah.
By the way, like when we were kids, I know we have a difference in age a little bit, but like when we were kids, it was totally cool for like younger kids to just go to the park and hang out. Nowadays, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing.
I mean, it's a sad thing that
it's
kids
a
can't
sad
just go
thing.
to the park.
Yeah.
Although right next to the school I work at, there's a little park, and every day when I leave, there's tons of families. They're all just playing at the park. It's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
I kind of want to move there. I won't because
into the park.
No, not to the park.
Like just to get a tent.
Live in the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a nice tent, but anyways, go ahead. Baseball.
Right, baseball. So I was probably 3 or 4 or something like that. And my brother was playing baseball, and my brother was, I know.
Older brothers.
I know, right? I don't know how fast Ben could throw at the time. I know by
How old
6th
was
grade,
he?
he's 4 years older than me, so he was probably 7 or 8.
Okay.
By the time he was in 6th grade, my brother had a crazy good arm. So by the time he was in 6th grade, he was throwing 60 miles an hour.
Was he tall then?
Yeah.
Well, he was a young
he was
tall,
really
so
tall.
he had like that pendulum.
Oh
thing.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
He had like a
he
whip.
knew how to throw his body around.
Yeah.
So I don't know
That's
how
really
fast he was
bad for your
throwing it.
arm, but
And probably for your back.
yeah.
But he doesn't do it anymore.
He walks like this now.
Yeah, right,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, my arm and my back are broken forever.
It's just always in his pocket.
It's
He doesn't
just
ever take it out.
His arm is just... There's no elbow left.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had to fuse it.
It's just straight.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that
'cause
one
it's-
time with the baseball, Alex.
And I got my revenge. It's fine. It was a long game.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're like at his like training, or he's getting ready for a game, and he's practicing pitching with my dad. And I just like walk over, and my dad takes credit for it now because he's like, I should have been like, hey, don't come over here because we're throwing baseballs around.
Yeah.
And my brother throws one that just goes like, it's not to my dad. It's to my head.
Wild pitch.
Yeah, it was a wild pitch.
Did you lean into it?
I don't know.
As a batter does,
I certainly leaned out of it. Yeah. After it hit me, it was just,
Were you walking?
Mm-hmm.
Were you like mid-walk?
Well, so I don't actually remember it happening, but this is what I've been told.
That you were like
I was walking to my dad, and my dad is like, he feels bad because he's like, he knew that I shouldn't have been coming close while my brother was trying to throw, or he should have told my brother to stop throwing, but he didn't. And my brother threw a wild pitch, and it hit me right in the head, and I fell over, and after that, I couldn't speak. And so, like, I don't know if he just like hit somewhere in the brain, but I was like trying to speak, and they said it came out as just gibberish. Like they had.
Oh, you were definitely concussed.
I was probably concussed. Yeah. And so they were like freaking out because they're like, literally, like our son
our son's brain
say
dead.
Words. Yeah, like before can't say words now, and honestly, I've never asked him if I had to relearn from that point because I might maybe I did. Who knows?
Could you imagine the guilt your brother would have had if you like? This is sad.
Dang it, Ben! I could have been smart.
That was sad, but like the guilt your brother would have had if like you never learned how to speak again.
Oh my gosh,
that would have been awful.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Yeah,
I'm glad you learned how to speak again. It'd be really hard to have a podcast with you if you didn't learn how to speak.
Nobody would listen to it. Yeah, it'd be rough. But we went to the emergency room, and they kept me there for a while, like checked my pupils and did all the things. Obviously, I had like a big old bruise on my head.
Any stitches?
No, I don't think it was bleeding. So,
got a hard head there, man.
Yeah, no. What's up? No big deal.
Takes baseballs.
Yeah, easy. I mean, he's probably only throwing like 45 or something like that at that point.
That's a fast baseball to the head without anything.
That's true.
3 or 4.
Yeah, it was great. But eventually, obviously, my speaking came back. I think it was like later that day, my speaking started to come back and whatnot. But they were like so worried, like that I was just had become brain dead or something.
Yeah. I bet as a parent that's got to be terrifying.
Yeah, right?
You're like, oh my gosh, I just watched my kid just
regress 2 years.
I do have to say, though, there's something really funny because little kids already walk so weird because their head is way too big and they're like bobbling back and forth.
Right.
There's something really funny with like a little ball or something that hits a kid.
Yeah,
not at 45 miles an hour, but it knocks them over.
Yeah,
it's just funnier when they're walking because they go down so slow.
Oh yeah, and you see them do the little like worm almost where it like hits their head and then you see it hit the rest
exactly.
of their body, and then they just eat it.
It's not like an old man when he falls and he's like slowly falling because he's like trying to not break anything. It's the kid is like reacting in such a weird way. Yeah. It's just so funny. I imagine at 45 miles an hour though, baseball to your head wasn't funny to watch.
I don't know. I can't remember it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, nobody else was probably like,
in a comedy though, the dad would turn to his son and be like, "Nice pitch, son."
Yeah,
and you'd be like up against the wall.
I think my dad did do that, but then he was like, "Oh, but he's not saying."
He's like, "Oh wait, I forgot, Alex."
What's ironic though is my first word ever was ball.
Was it before or after?
I don't know.
Incident?
I've never asked. It could have been either.
Well, it was ball, and then the first word we retaught you was ball.
Yeah. It could be.
The next one was duck.
Duck. Yeah. That one was we taught you sign language, which was you actually had to duck.
And then we taught you how to dive out of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be hilarious. Seeing like a 3-year-old, you go like dive and he just extends his arms and then jumps.
Yeah.
Because you know he wouldn't do it all in one fluid motion.
Not at all. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Which one to go to next? So, being a basketball player, tons of ankle injuries. Just nonstop. Like you kind of get used to it. And I was telling you a little bit about some of them, but one of the worst ones, I think I was playing at an open gym one time and I had jumped up and I don't know really what happened. And I kind of I went up, kind of got bumped and just threw me off my balance enough, but not like enough that this person like hit me that hard.
Yeah.
It was like just enough where I landed weird.
Yeah.
And I landed with kind of it was my right foot and it was it's called an inversion sprain,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So like my pinky toe, if you imagine that, like that part of my shoe hit first, and then it went sideways to the point that like my malleolus. I still remember these terms. That lumpy part on the outside of your ankle.
Yeah, the little bump.
Yeah, that hit the ground.
Oh my gosh.
So like the whole foot hit the ground.
How is your foot not broken sideways?
So I don't know. So nothing snapped.
You got like Gumby ankles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were pretty weak at that point, so could have happened. But
they're so weak that your bone actually was bendy.
Yeah. No, my bones weren't weak. The ligaments were pretty weak, right? So nothing snapped or anything. But when I went to the ER on that one, because it was like I couldn't put any weight on it, and literally it just went straight black. And like I'm a skinny guy, and I was even skinnier in high school, especially my legs. There was a very clear difference when I was playing basketball between my calf and my ankle, because my calves were huge, because it was the only thing a basketball player works out is his triceps and his calves. Like, we don't care about biceps.
Right.
Triceps, that's how you shoot.
Right.
Or most of the muscle. You care a little about biceps.
Biceps if you can dunk.
But but legs to be able to jump, right? So it was leg training. So my calves were huge. By the time we got to like the car, after this, like leaving it was at a church gym. Yeah. And my dad had come pick me up. By the time we got to the car, which was not that long, my ankle to my calf was literally, there was no difference. That's how swollen
just one big tube.
Yeah, that's how swollen my ankle was. And so, it was black. On the outside.
Oh my.
Like black, and then it moved into purple all the way up my leg. It was
black. What is it? Is it just black. Like full of blood? What does that mean?
Yeah. And so there's this thing, I think it's called pitting edema, if I'm remembering my sports medicine correctly.
Please explain.
Where you literally like, you can poke the skin.
Oh, right? Okay.
If you're squeamish.
And it stays down?
And it stays down. Yeah, that was my whole leg. It was that swollen. It was gnarly. Did
you do Pictionary?
Did not do Pictionary because it hurt to poke it. It was really bad. But there's really nothing they can do, right? They put me in a little thing. But the best part about the story, like that story is pretty gnarly. Like, I think there's a picture of it on my Instagram, my foot up, right?
Okay.
From like a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And the best part about that story is they put me on painkillers that were super strong because I was in so much pain, and they're like, well, nothing's broken. Right. Like you didn't rip any ligaments, that they could tell. So they're like, it's just really, really, really bad sprain. And so, I had crutches, I had little splints or whatever. But they gave me super strong pain meds. But my family had a thing that event that night, so no one could take care of me. So they like gave me my pain meds, and they're like, just stay on the couch. And my girlfriend at the time, I was like texting her, and I was texting all of our friends. Yeah. And it was just like complete gibberish because I was so high on pain meds. And at one point, I had texted my mom. Yeah. Because so my mom was out or whatever. She was at her house, and my dad and my stepmom were out doing whatever. They were dinner or something. So everyone's busy, and I'm texting my mom because I guess I saw a SeaWorld commercial is what they later found out. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to buy a dolphin. Yeah. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I saw a dolphin on TV. I'm going to buy one. Yeah. And she's like, you're being weird I was like convinced. I was like, no, Mom, I've looked it up online. Like, I know how to buy a dolphin.
Did you find one?
I don't know. I was high out of my mind on painkillers.
What if you bought a dolphin then and you just never got it in the mail?
Well, no. My mom was convinced enough that she left where she was at because she thought like I was legit trying to buy things online or whatever. And she left and came to make sure I wasn't one, dying, but two, I guess buying dolphins like on the black market. I don't know how that works, but apparently that
would be so cool.
Me on those so then they didn't let me take the painkillers anymore because they were like, yeah, this kid goes psycho on this thing.
Sooner or later, he's going to buy a whole whale.
Buying dolphins and stuff. I'm like calling up SeaWorld like, hey, how much for that dolphin?
I saw that one on your
I saw
commercial.
Flipper on the commercial. I want him. I got a pool out back. He'll have a good life here.
Hey, what is a dolphin? Is it good for a dolphin to be in chlorine? Yeah. I got the chlorine.
But the worst part about that injury took forever to heal.
How long were you decommissioned?
I don't remember. It was at least a couple months. Wow. Which ankle sprains can be bad, but they're usually not that bad. That one was bad. I think that was my worst ankle sprain.
How long were you on crutches for? Is that the 2 months?
I think it was about 2 months. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, I was able to walk, but not like I wasn't full. Yeah. And I've broken that same foot. The ankle sprain was worse than the foot break. The foot break, I was back playing ball in a month.
Right.
But that was because I broke it on my growth plate. So
Wow.
my foot won't grow anymore. But
Wait, your foot won't grow anymore?
no, my foot stopped growing after I broke that spot of the growth plate. But I was already pretty much fully grown.
So do you have two slightly different size feet?
No, I mean everyone does. But
Well, yeah,
no,
right,
they're
yeah.
both 10s. So
Oh, okay. So good.
I
good
was
timing.
like at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't get much bigger than that. But
Right.
all right,
Cool.
you got anything else? Or you want me to go to my last ones?
You might have a better one. My only other story is my like story that I think I was the closest to dying, but I wouldn't say I was. It wasn't like a big injury.
How close were you to dying?
I was like close enough to dying to where like adrenaline kicked in, and I was like, I gotta go.
Well, you got to tell us now. You can't say I'm close to dying and then just kick it. We'll just go a little extra today.
All right. Sounds
Go
good.
extra innings, like we always do. We're just kind of used to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's like 4 episodes.
You can't pitch on a podcast. Oh, as I was close to dying, and then we just act like we're not going to talk about that.
All right. Well, then I'll share it
All right.
next episode.
But now you got to hype this, because if you're like, I went to Chuck E. Cheese and I got stuck in the ball pit.
Dude, you
I'm
can
gonna
go to
be
Chuck E.
angry.
Cheese and just eat a piece of their pizza and you might die.
That's true. Fair enough. Okay. What do you got?
All right, so this was the first summer after my first year at college. So me and some friends decided we wanted to go on a road trip, and we went up to Canada, to this lake up there called
I think it's pronounced Canada.
I don't know. I'm not cultured.
They are nice there, I hear.
Yeah, I've heard, this is completely an offshoot. I've heard that they had a big crime case where somebody stole literally I think 7 tons of blueberries from a blueberry truck, or maybe they stole a blueberry truck.
That's
and I'm
a
like,
genius crime.
what are you gonna do
Yeah.
with all these blueberries? You can't go resell 7 tons of blueberries.
What if they put them in a pool and just swam in it?
That's genius.
I know. We should do that.
But non-chlorinated.
No, we're not going to put any water in it. We're just going to dive into
Oh.
a thing of blueberries.
I don't think we get much deeper than our knees. Oh, but then we could just eat all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be great. Do you think there'd be little bugs in them though?
We'll ignore that part.
Okay, cool.
We'll seal it off. Bug-free zone. We'll put a sign.
You put a sign.
Yeah.
And then we'll put pesticides all in the blueberry
Yeah.
that we swim in.
Yeah.
It'll be good for us.
Yeah, that's fine. Makes your body stronger. I'm like the sword of Gryffindor.
Yes.
Doesn't kill me. It makes me stronger.
Wow. Everything?
Everything.
No matter what. Okay,
Except
that's
death.
good. Except death.
Yeah, death kills
Death
you.
does kill you.
Yep.
That doesn't kill me. It makes me stronger. I mean, technically.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to go into this story now.
Yep. Come on, Giggles. You got this.
All right.
Tell us your death.
Okay. My most near-death experience. We were in Canada. Up this place called Lake Marine. It looks like it's spelled Lake Moraine. I called it that for 4 years, and then found out it was
These
wrong.
are the details that I was talking about last week. Thank you for letting us
told
know
me-
what it's spelled like.
You told me I had to hype it up, which means I have to tell you a whole bunch of useless details. Plus, we have to restart the camera in 3 seconds.
Telling useless details is not how you hype stuff up. You hype stuff up, you're like, bro, and this is crazy, man. What was about to happen? All of a sudden, Bigfoot jumped out of nowhere.
No way.
That's how you hype it up.
That's how you lie. That's not hyping it up.
Well, if that's what happened, it's the hyping it up. It's how you say it, not being like, and it's actually pronounced Maureen. Are you guys hyped now? Her name was Maureen.
It was a lake. It wasn't a her. But yes, it was Marine. Anyway, so we're at Lake Marine, and we're like, this is the place that for this entire road trip we've been trying to go, right? We'd seen this place on a desktop, right? It literally was my roommate's desktop, just
That's how
popped
you
up.
decided to get there? That's
I kid you not.
hilarious.
He saw it one of the first weeks of school. It just was one of those random Microsoft photos, and he was like, we should go there. And then me and my other roommate were like, okay, let's do it. And then we planned a 2-week road trip about how we were going to get there. Figured out where it was, how we were going to get there. And so we decided to do this road trip. And
It took you 2 weeks to get there?
well, it took us a week to get up and a week back.
Oh,
back
got it,
down.
got it.
And then, so we're on this road trip. We finally make it to this, this is the climax of our whole road trip. This is literally we stand in the spot where we saw the photo was taken.
Did you take the photo there?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely. Yeah. And it is the blue Powerade.
Yeah.
The bright blue one. It is that color. It is crazy. Once
You
you get
explain
really,
that to a colorblind person, that means literally nothing to me.
Well,
but to everyone listening,
Paul gets it and everybody else gets it.
Yeah.
It
Is it like this?
the brightest. Yes, actually, it is
Oh,
almost like
nailed
this
it!
color. Yeah.
I'm
It's
so
crazy.
smart.
I saw it in the photos And I was like, there's no way. Like, this has to be editing. And then when I got there, I was blown away. It is so beautiful. And once you get down to the water, it's like crystal clear. I don't know how it works. Yeah. It's crazy. But it is like, so it's glacier water. Oh, I just smacked my mic. It's glacier water, which means it's
drinkable.
Yes.
Huh.
It's also just melted ice.
Isn't that what all water is?
Yeah.
It's good. Well, we're back, and
As we've established.
you were telling me how you were
water is melted ice.
You were trying to hype up the story, and you said this glacial water is literally it's literally frozen ice.
No,
And I said,
it's melted ice.
Melted ice, yeah, frozen, melted, not frozen. And I said, isn't that all water?
All right. So let me re-clarify. It is like freshly melted ice.
Okay.
In the most vast sense that you can imagine.
I'm crying.
Oh my gosh.
All right, keep going.
So
I'm pulling it together.
this water is like, because it's such a large body of water, it's not going to freeze, but there are good deals of it that are actually below freezing, right? And so we get down there.
When did you go?
In the middle of summer.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's a Canadian
so
lake
cold,
that was
yeah.
like literally like it's got mountains up against mountains that are covered in snow.
Yeah.
But you're like just in the water that's it's melted. It's melted
Canada's
ice down
weird.
there. Canada is weird, yeah.
Summer with snow. Who knows?
Who knows? I've never even had a winter with snow.
Yeah, we don't even get winter with snow.
But we get down there and we're like, this is great. We've experienced it. We've taken the photo. We've looked at everything. We've kind of sat down, just trying to like take it in and enjoy it. But then one of my friends and I are like, let's try to swim to the other side. And so like we get to the like this part that's a little bit shorter. It's probably like maybe 150 feet or something like that across. Doesn't
That's
seem
not
like
very
that
far.
much. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just swim across this because it's like we got here. Might as well swim. And so we like get into our swim trunks, get ready to like swim to the other side. Get in. It is freezing cold. The other two people who are with us are like, no, we're absolutely not swimming. But me and my friend are like, no, we're totally gonna do this. We're the daredevils. We're gonna be the ones who are gonna be like not afraid to do anything. And so we were like, okay, we're gonna swim. So we started swimming, get about halfway across, and I look at him because I'm starting to like not be able to breathe.
Yeah, because it's so cold.
Yeah, because it's so cold.
Your body's shutting down.
Literally, my body is shutting down. And so I look at him like, and I'm just breathing really heavy, and I'm like, should we go back? And
the answer is yes, you should go back.
And so he goes, no, we're like halfway there. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So,
which you're never actually halfway there.
No. Well,
you
and
think
also,
you are, but you're never.
If we had died by the end of it, if we had turned back, at least we would have fallen into the water closer to where our friends were.
Your friends, yeah.
But we were like, we're just going to keep going away from safety. So
as all college boys would do.
Exactly. We keep trekking on, and as we start finishing this second half, I am starting to slowly lose like ability to move my body.
Yeah.
Like my legs stop kicking as fast as they were at the beginning, and then they slowly just stop kicking, and my arms are like the only thing really moving, and then those start getting slower, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like I'm just gonna drown in this water because my body is not functioning. And then that's when like the adrenaline kicked in of like, hey, you need to somehow move your body or you will die.
Yeah.
And I got this like sort of second wind, and we got like maybe 10, 15 feet forward to where there was a log in the water, and hopped up on the log. I don't know how I got up on this log because I could not feel like I was moving anything.
Yeah.
But we hopped on this log and then just sunbathed on a log in the middle of the lake for like 10, 15 minutes trying to soak up our heat.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Well, that's pretty basic science. Why you?
Yeah, but apparently
like your heart
pneumonia's a thing or whatever.
Pneumonia, but also like your heart, like your body will protect your heart. So all your blood was just rushing to your heart because it was so cold. It was trying to protect it. So your limbs are like, we don't need to work.
Listen,
you could have like
we were not very good at
you
science.
could have been like a potato out there, and all of a sudden you just be like floating, you just be dead.
Let me
because you lose all limb.
Let me help
function.
you understand this. I'm a business major.
Yeah.
The guy who was swimming
I'm a
with,
Bible major, so
well, the guy who I was swimming with was a Bible major.
yeah.
The two guys we
We're
left
not
on
the
the shore,
smartest.
engineers.
Yeah.
So they knew
They were smart enough.
they were smart enough. Yeah.
They were like, yeah, the quickest way from point A to point B is straight. But, you know, is better than that? Not going
dying.
there.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what we should do? We should somehow engineer a bridge to walk from this point to that
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
They
They probably would have made it there
Yeah,
first.
they already had a blueprint by the time you almost died and came back.
And you know what was worse? It's right after. No, okay, not worse than almost dying. But you know what was sucky? Is right after that we got off the log. We probably only had like 20 feet after that till we were at the other side. So we got to the other side, and then we had to walk all the way around because we couldn't swim back without shoes on. So it was just like rocky and snowy. It was terrible.
Yeah. You know what I learned from Bear Grylls? If you're ever in that situation again,
Pee yourself.
no, don't do that. That's gross.
Well, I made it warmer. I don't know if I could have peed myself. I don't know what would have happened.
You got to take off all the clothes that are wet because they're keeping you wet, and you start doing push-ups.
Oh,
Get the blood flowing.
I should have done that.
Saw Bear Grylls do it. I mean, I didn't see. You know, it was on one of his
Right.
Man vs. Wild show.
Yeah, there was a bush covering everything.
No, it was a big sensor bar.
Oh, got it. That makes sense.
All right, my last one.
Yeah.
We'll make this last one.
Okay.
I also head trauma.
All
There's a lot of things wrong with his brain. It's real surprising. It still functions.
Yeah.
Senior year basketball, going up at practice. Just so happens the athletic trainer. We went late. The athletic trainer is in the training room or in the gym, the practice gym with us. She's never in there. We're doing a fast break drill. You go down one way, down the I said the aisle.
You go down the aisle.
We've been
you
to a lot
kiss
of
your
weddings
bride,
lately.
and then you...
So we're running down the court, and then it's 3 going one way against 2, and then 2 coming back against 1. And I was on the 2 coming back, and I went up with a layup, and the kid that was a defender came and hit me right on the knee. And so I went up, and at this year, I couldn't dunk, right?
Yeah.
But I could get up to the point where, like, when I was laying it up, I was at the rim.
Yeah.
Then I went up, and he came and hit right underneath me to that point where, like, there was nothing I could do to stop it. And I literally went over the top of him, and it happened so fast because I was, like, full speed, and he hit me. I went over the top of his shoulder, and he was bigger than me. He was, like, your height. So I was up.
Yeah.
And that's a long way for me to fall, being not a tall guy.
Right.
And didn't even get my hands under me. Just straight. Went over the top of him and head right into the ground.
Oh.
So it was, which of these eyebrows has a scar on it? There's
The right one.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was this side again. It's always this side.
Yeah.
So
Wait, no, the other one's the other side.
What?
You're even.
Oh,
down.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I meant the ankle.
Oh, yeah.
But I went up, and it just kind of came over top, and I didn't get my hands down, and just face plant and scorpion.
Well, and so did you just black out at that moment?
No. So then
Really?
I stood up, like I jumped up quick. Same thing. It's really weird. Jumped up quick and went like this and was like, oh man, and then one of my buddies was like, oh dude, you're bleeding. And I was like, oh, I'm good. And I saw the blood, and that was a point where all of a sudden, like, the world started to close.
Yeah.
And like, but it was like slow. And then where you're at was the athletic trainer. She was all of a sudden standing there, and her and I knew each other pretty well, as did Zach, because we were both in sports med club.
Yeah,
so we worked with this lady all the time. And she was like right there. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I remember being like this, like leaning back. And all of a sudden it started to go black. And I just fell. And she literally caught me.
Wow.
Which is really dangerous because, like, you can have a concussion and then you pass out and then you get another concussion because your head just smacks the ground.
Yeah.
And so she caught me. And, like, I was back to within, like, 15 seconds.
What?
But not, like, I wasn't functioning, like, at all.
Right.
Like, you were talking about didn't know words. Like, they started doing concussion protocol right away. She asked me the date, got the date wrong. I got the year wrong. Like, I was gone.
Wow.
Like, gone. And so, but I was convincing enough in that area. Like, I was getting stuff wrong, but I was convincing enough in my speech in other areas where she was like, I don't know what to do with you. Because I was like, no, like, I'm fine. And she was like, okay, like, let's go sit for 5 minutes and then we'll assess.
Yeah.
So we sat down and, oh, no, I was a junior. I remember that.
Okay.
Because we were, I wasn't playing a lot junior year.
Okay.
And there was some other guys that were seniors that were like the golden boys.
Yeah, right.
And like they couldn't do anything wrong kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they messed up all the time, but they were good enough that, they always got overlooked.
Yeah.
I was a junior, so I didn't say anything because it's like, they were seniors. You got to earn your spot and earn your time.
Right.
So I was sitting over there, and the athletic trainer was like, she later told me that I was saying everything that I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know I was saying everything. She's like, I had no idea I was talking.
Yeah.
That's how messed up my brain was.
Right.
She was like, you were like yelling, like to the gym, where I'd be like, if I did that, I would have got benched. Like saying stuff like that out loud to the entire gym. And so at that point, like I had said probably 2 or 3 things.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it's time to take you out of this. So she tried to like get me to stand up with her and kind of, guide me. And I couldn't stand up. Like I literally functionally could not stand up.
So did you just stay there making commentary?
No, she literally had to like not fireman carry me. That's over her shoulder. But she had to, get underneath me. And then Zach came on the other side. And they didn't like walk me there. They literally picked me up and dragged me.
Wow.
To the training room where she called my dad because she had all my, sports athletes. She had all my stuff on file. And my dad's one of those like, oh, he's fine kind of people.
Right.
And I was actually just talking about the story with my dad the other day. Because when I was younger, I got injured a lot, and I was kind of like that. I was a little softer, blah blah. But at this point in my life, I was gotten to that point where I was like, I didn't want to, wimp out on anything.
Right.
But he was still kind of like, sir, he's fine. She's like, yeah, he might need to go to the emergency room. My dad's like, whatever, like, I'm fine. You remember I talked about Jeopardy hour?
Yeah.
My dad was watching a show, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, practice ends in like 30 minutes. He'll be fine. So my dad finishes his show.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
So finally gets up there and is thinking like kind of strolling in like all fine. Like he's fine, whatever. He's just probably, not doing great, but he'll be fine. Because I had been injured so often with ankles and stuff. And he gets there and he literally, they had me standing against like the wall. So like she could get the stuff as I was, and she's like, hold on the wall. And Zach's kind of like sitting there like bracing me, but not like holding me because that'd be weird. And I'm like if you're listening with your eyes, I was like moving all over the place. Like I was intoxicated. Right. Like no balance at all. And I don't remember any of this. I lost 48 hours. Yeah. Like 48 straight hours of time I have no memory of. What? And so I was like rocking everywhere. I mean, I was like, oh my God, like, is he going to be okay? And she's like, you need to take him to the emergency room. So he take me to the emergency room. And if you've ever had a concussion or multiple, as I've had, it messes with your brain, right? That's what it is. But you can have all sorts of weird symptoms, one of which is light sensitivity. And all of a sudden, like, we're in the car driving home, and I am like screaming because I have such a bad headache from the lights, from the car lights. So my dad's like putting my shirt over my head to like help me because motor function skills are not working. Right. And so then I'm like tucked under the dash to hide from the lights to get me home. Yeah. And then, because we have my little brother and sister, so I could get everything, call my mom up. Yeah. They get me to the ER, where if you've ever been in the ER, it's like, hello, awful fluorescent light. Let's just make everything as bright as possible, even though it's the darkest, saddest place in the entire world. Mm-hmm. And so we walk in, and I'm like, I can't do this. So I'm like, do you have a blindfold or like I can ask anything to put over my eyes? I can't. Because it's like a 2-hour wait. Right. Not a gunshot victim, apparently. So I have to sit and wait for all the people. It's 11:30 at night now, and all these people are in the ER for the sniffles. And I'm like, my brain could be severely bleeding out. And they're like, 2.5-hour wait. Anyways, I'm sitting waiting, and I'm not allowed to go to sleep. You can't go to sleep with a concussion. So they tie a pillowcase to my head. Literally, a pillow. They tied
over your head or like?
No, to my head. Like,
okay.
2 pillowcases that they wrap around my head like a bandana to cover my eyes because I can't stand the light. Right. But I can't fall asleep, so they have to keep lifting the pillowcase to make sure I'm not sleeping.
That sounds like torture.
Yeah, it was awful. So 2.5 hours later, we did all the medical tests. They were like, yeah, we think he's fine. So then I go home, and then I was allowed to go to sleep because they didn't see any bleeding in my brain. Okay. Once I got results. So like, he's allowed to sleep, but you need to wake him up every 45 minutes. Oh. So every 45 minutes, I was woken up with my dad. But I'm exhausted, right? Because like basketball, school, all that stuff, concussion. And so they're waking me up. and I wouldn't wake up. So one of the times, so they're like started just flickering the lights on and off, and I was like, stop doing that, because it hurt.
Yeah.
So it woke me up though.
Right.
But I don't remember that day. Like the whole day of before.
Right.
No memory of other than the like glimpses up to it and then the like thing, and
Yeah.
everything else was told to me, and I don't remember the next day at all. Like, and to this day, driving at night's awful. I have super bad light sensitivity, so like I'm always wearing sunglasses outside.
Wow.
Which is why I always have multiple pairs of sunglasses in my truck.
Yeah.
Because I can't, like, the light sensitivity to this day is awful. And
Huh.
like memory loss, it took about a month till I could function normally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember things. So like I was smart, like good grades. I couldn't focus in class. It was crazy. Teachers were like, "What's going on?" And so the athletic trainer and the doctor had to write specialized notes to be like, give him some time.
Yeah.
Because he literally can't focus or remember anything.
Right. Right.
So like I took a test and I'm like sitting there in math. I remember, and it was one of my math teacher was also one of my coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I was like the first one done kind of thing. I'm sitting there and like the bell rings and I've done like 2 problems. And he's like, Ricky, like what? And I'm like, don't know. Like I was gone. Like it was like a month of just being gone. It was crazy, man. Your brain is crazy. So kids, if you're listening, protect your brain.
Yeah. Wear a helmet.
Don't wear a helmet if you're playing basketball.
Wear a helmet everywhere. Don't ever.
You're in your
get
car,
yourself like a football helmet and just and always have it on.
Full face motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, and then it doubles as a mask.
Yeah. So, anyways, never had any like crazy broken bones or anything, but that to this day, still bad. Also, I have scoliosis and spondylosis, but we are out of time.
Yeah.
That's the long term effects. My back is like a 50-year-old man back.
What is it like having a blip in your memory where it's like nothing happened? You can't recall.
It was really weird going back to school because like everyone knows you're gone,
right?
And they're like, and like especially the basketball team, they're like texting you and stuff, and I'd responded, but I don't remember responding.
Right.
So they're like, "Oh, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Fine."
Weird.
And like, they're like, "Oh, like what'd you do?" You know, that kind of the typical like high school questions.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
asking
right,
like what
right.
you did. And I'm like, I don't know.
Wow.
Like, and it wasn't like I don't remember now.
Right.
Like I did not remember that next day.
Right.
It was like relearning how to have a memory and a brain function. It's
so
very
strange.
weird.
Yeah.
So I have to be cautious now. You want to play basketball, not knock the head on
Not
anything.
jump too high.
Yeah. Not hit my head on the rim or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
just it's really crazy how phenomenal our bodies are too.
Oh my gosh.
Like
yeah.
some of the things that my body has endured.
Right.
And survived, like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat or a baseball, and full force on headbutting the ground essentially, and be like, my body can survive that,
right,
and recover.
And it does things to make you better. Like, like you said, your brain wasn't bleeding, but it did swell up. I assume.
Yeah, to protect it.
Your head did to protect it. Yeah, or your sprained ankle still protected it, but it was very painful. But now you're doing pretty good.
Right, like my broken foot, like healed and never had any real issues with it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Our bodies are amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that sports injuries are cool. Happy I haven't had anything too gnarly.
Right.
But some pretty bad head trauma.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that till we started this. So maybe I should go see someone. go make sure my brain's okay. Go get some brain scans then or something.
Maybe this is all in your imagination.
Maybe you should too if you forgot how to speak, man.
I can speak now.
Speak good, you do.
Yep.
Well, tell them what we got on our socials.
Well, on our socials, I don't know if any of you guys have seen our TikTok yet. I hope you have. We're going to be trying to post there pretty regularly.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it already, we shaved off Paul's beard.
Yeah, we did.
Which is it was pretty great.
Well, we haven't yet, but by the time you hear this, we did.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can't act like we've done it yet.
No, but we know it's going to be pretty great, so we can at least say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it might be horrifying.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll show you next week, maybe.
You'll know better than we know right now, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Mind trip.
You're more informed than us.
My concussion doesn't allow me to figure that out in my brain.
So
we got a TikTok. What else?
We have Instagram. We don't have a Facebook.
That's not called Instagram.
Oh, we have an Oddstagram.
Got you, buddy.
Yeah, we have an odd Twitter.
No, we nixed that one. Remember, just Twitter.
We got rid of Twitter.
Just Twitter. Oddstagram's the only one.
Oh, we have Oddstagram, Twitter, TikTok. We got YouTube for those of you who are a fan of looking at things.
Yeah.
And Oddstagram, actually, if you want to look at things, we got it there. And TikTok, actually, all of our good.
So literally, what he's trying to say is the only thing that you can't look at us on is the podcast platform you listen
and
to.
Twitter. We
post our videos on Twitter.
We post our videos on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, we don't do a great job, but all of our TikToks are on Twitter.
We should just start posting dad jokes.
This is falling apart.
Well, now they're informed.
Yeah.
If you want to look at us, don't listen to our podcast. That's what.
Listen to our podcast. Just do it the visual way on YouTube. Maybe you still don't know words.
Or maybe I'm saying exactly what I mean to.
I'm going with mine.
All right, that's fine.
Next week we'll be talking about. Last week we talked about this man getting engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we'll talk about
man getting engaged.
Me man getting engaged.
What's happening to both of us?
I don't know. Anyways,
Maybe.
Thank you guys for listening. We know these are long at times. We love you. We appreciate any support you've given us. You continue to give us any shares. We just want to keep doing this. It's been a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun to have a creative outlet.
Yeah.
TikTok's just another way to do that, to do silly short skit platforms. And if you don't want to listen to us for 50 minutes, then
this is
listen to us on TikTok, because you only have to listen to us for 1 minute at a time, because that's the max they allow you to post.
That's true.
Buy a shirt. We still have a lot.
And stickers.
If you buy a shirt right now, Alex will send you one of his personal shirts out of his closet. It'll still smell like him.
That's true. I'll do it.
Yep.
If you buy it on next Monday, the Monday that this was released, I'll send you a shirt.
Yep.
One of my shirts with it.
Yes, he will.
And it'll be a graphic tee. It won't just be a plain one.
Well, anyways, thanks for listening. And remember, stay out.